This project for this year is between 15th Street and 45th Street, and the photograph that you see there is from this past Friday, a drone footage, pretty much from 18th Street viewed north where the project is coming on shore around 21st Street. To provide a little bit of overall project background, this re-nourishment cycle, we are actually receiving sand from the Norfolk Harbor and channel navigation improvement, the Atlantic Ocean Channel deepening project that's for the Virginia Port Authority that the Army Corps of Engineers is administering. The resort beach will be receiving up to 950,000 cubic yards of beach quality sand mined from the Atlantic Ocean Channel. Again, the limits are from just north of the pier, 15th Street to 45th Street. The sand placement will be via hopper dredge construction methods, which I'll talk just a little bit more in a few slides. So overall, this project's been going on for a little bit. The bids were open back in October of 2023. The nourishment portion of this overall project for the resort beach was $20.2 million, where again it's a cost sharing program with the Army Corps of Engineers, where the Corps is they're paying 13.2 or 65%, and the city's paying $7 million. I'm sorry, yeah, 13.2 million, and the city's paying $7 million, or 35% of the total project or the re-nourishment portion cost. Contractor is Manson Construction. They're out of Seattle, Washington, and the contract was awarded back in December 23, and the contractor has been spending the last year dredging, deepening the channel, and just doing work related to that. So little background, some of you may have seen a couple of these next few slides before, but the beach nourishment program history going back to about 2001, or technically 1996, between the Army Corps of Engineers and City of Virginia Beach cost share program. First nourishment was called the Big Beach Nourishment back in 2001, 2002. The first re-nourishment was 2013, winter to summer. The second re-nourishment was just back in 2019, started in the summer, completed in December of 2019, and then of course the one that is just getting underway. So back, I'm not sure how many of y'all have seen some of these photos from the past, but yeah, the summer 2001 to 2002 re-nourishment was the real big 4 million cubic yards from that was placed between Rudy Inlet and 89th Street as part of the overall hurricane protection project that included seawall along the resort beach and then stormwater outfall improvements. The first re-nourishment was 1.4 million cubic yards of sand placed between 15th Street and 70th Street. And that project was completed in August of 2013. And then, of course, again, the summer, the 2019 nourishment was 1.4 million. Again, similar location of 15th Street to 70th Street. And that project was started in the summer. There was a break in the fall time frame, and then the contractor came back and completed it in December of 2019. So now, what important is here today to talk about the winter project. It is underway, fortunately. Contractor finally got mobilized, and back on December 30th, they are utilizing the 38th Street vehicular ramp access ramp location to maneuver equipment on and off the beach. And they have finally started doing some nourishing, or they're doing the nourishing portion, receiving sand, and their time frame is January 30th to June 1st, 2025, and that will be the sand will be pumped and graded into place utilizing large earth moving equipment. The contractor will typically work in about a 1,500-foot section where 500 feet is a pre-work section. Sometimes that might be open to the public, sometimes not. Then, of course, the definite closed section, which is the around 500-foot work area. And then there's the 500-foot post-work area, which I'll show an image in a minute of how that can be opened back to the public, even though there might be construction equipment still in the area. The sand is pumped from offshore via a submerged pipeline that is daylighted on shore, and in this case, it's at 21st Street right now. The contractor is currently working south at 21st Street south, progressing towards 15th Street, pretty much the pier. Once that whole portion is completed, the contractor is basically going to flip everything at 21st Street and then begin to progress north. And so the contractor will typically complete around 300 to 500 feet of beach length at any given time. And of course, that's weather and equipment depending. Right now, they have had, even though we're happy that they're starting in wintertime, there's been some weather conditions and then some equipment conditions that have kind of slowed their progress. But these guys, they don't like to be slow. They want to work as quick as possible. And just as a side, once this project is completed in early June, the contractor will demobilize his equipment, take it to south of Rudy Inlet, and then they'll do the 130,000 cubic yards nourishment at Croatan Beach, which will be about between June 1 and June 18th. So now, with that being said, what's great is here's a visual from just this past Friday. It's great that we have drone technology and a drone team. That there was a time it would take several weeks or just have to be part of the contract to have aerial shots, and now we just ask the crew, and a few days later on a sunny day they can go right up. And so here we are at contractor does right now have it closed off, the area closed off between 22nd Street further north down to 28th Street. The dark area is where the slurry material is being pumped in, and then they have the dozers that start to move the material around to start to build the beach. So after that, now this slide is always a good slide. It's a little busy, but I'll walk you all through it, and I'm not going to talk about every single thing on it. And I kind of wish I had a pointer, but if you look up to the I guess the upper left where it says pump out and hopper dredge, there's the dredge, which is really big. It's an impressive ocean-going vacuum cleaner dump truck is what I call it, because they suck the sand out off the ocean floor, goes through a series of pumps, and then it goes into the hold, the hopper of the vessel, and then the vessel comes from offshore and it'll come to inshore like in this picture. And there's the little orange line that goes from it, and there's about a black with yellow circle or amber circle. That's kind of a symbol for that's called the pump out. So everything on the hopper dredge, basically, all the pump system, instead of sucking in, now it's pushing it all out. Goes to that pump. That pump is the piece of equipment that now pumps that slurry. Slurry is basically sand and water. We got to have the water with it to be able to move the sand. And the dashed amber line is the pump. That's the subline, what we call the subline, that is on the ocean floor and then comes onshore to a given location. In the case of the project right now, it's at 21st Street, and then it'll eventually make a turn and come down shore where I guess, oops, sorry, don't mean to squint, but yeah, 5, the onshore discharge pipe, and eventually gets to basically this giant T-valve that either allows the contractor will go in and they'll turn it to either have the sand go more to the east to the ocean side, or it'll go more to the landward side to discharge the material, and then the dozer operators go in there and they start to work the material into place to build the berm. And what's interesting is this side photograph here is typically they use discharge baskets, and so now they have this one particular device that basically will separate out larger materials. I've never seen this type of sorting machine used before. I know myself and the project manager for the project, we want to go out and see this thing be used, because I've been doing this type of work for almost 30 years, and this is a new one. It'll be impressive to see, but either way, it will discharge the sand out, all the material out, but separate out any larger rocks, materials, hopefully no unexploded ordinances, but they have personnel there to make sure that they check the baskets after they do a series of discharge of this sand. So next. Now, if you can't make it out to the beach, fortunately, just like in 2019, the Army Corps of Engineers has set up a project status mapper. This mapper is pretty close to up to date. They try to update it daily, and it'll show you where the contractor's working, where they plan to be working, and what sections will be open, and then the volume of material placed to date. And then, of course, and now we'll have it included. The link to this website is included on the Public Works Engineering landing page. And so, pretty much with that, the web page address is basically the Public Works Coastal and Waterfront landing page. If you go to that address, and it'll actually has a specific just link that says, I think it says, Beach Nourishment Mapper. And you click on that, and you'll go to that previous that previous web link or mapper that you saw. So pretty much that's it. Real quick, Miss Kelly Mills, she is the senior project manager she's our city liaison with the Army Corps of Engineers for this project. I'm her supervisor. I'm kind of in the background, but just making sure she has what she needs to make sure that the project can go move forward. And then, of course, I wanted to acknowledge our communications folks, Tanya Howard, Jennifer Lundgren, and then, of course, the Wendell, and Lisa Bleakley in our tourist group, that they have been doing such a great job, because the thing is that with the Corps, you were always, what's the schedule? What's the schedule? When are you going to start? And they're like, oh, we're going to look to start in March. Out of nowhere in November, I think it was, they're like, oh yeah, the contractor's going to be starting at the end of December. And they feverishly, tried to do the best they could to get all the information out, and it's impressive, and they haven't stopped yet. So with that, any questions, I'll be happy to take.
Yeah.
How does, if you have delay, how does the schedule swing? I mean, is it you have to give them days for weather delay? So I'm just curious, the June 1 deadline, if that has a contingency in it, or?
Right, yeah, they do have delays in their schedule. Typically, it will depend on, we'll have to stay in constant communication with them. Okay, you've had a delay. What are you doing to make up for that delay? We'll ask the contractor how they're going to be able to try to stay on the June 1 time frame. If there is a major issue where somehow, I doubt it with this project, being a Virginia Port Authority project, if they were removed from the project, then that would be between VPA, the Corps, about any kind of liquidated damages if they go extensively. But for now, typically they have it in, and we stay in communication with them. First order of business is, what can you do to build back that time? As an example, can't guarantee it's going to happen with this project, but previous projects, the dredging contractor brought in an additional dredge, and they picked up progress quite rapidly. So if we get to that situation, we want to stay ahead of that situation. Kelly does go to every other week progress meetings with the Corps to see where things stand, what are the issues, and how are they rectifying any kind of issues. So.
Anybody else? Yes. Yeah, Mike.
Yeah.
Jim, how comfortable are you that the federal government will maintain their current budget, or possibly increase it or decrease it moving forward?
Based on the past, how the program has gone so far, I feel fairly confident. For the resort beach, they've done a pretty good job of making sure there are funds available for each one of these nourishments, and like once this one's complete, having congressional authorizations to make sure that the Corps will say within a year or two they need to have a certain amount of funds for the next design effort, and then the next construction effort. Right now, my confidence level's definitely north of 90%. Hopefully, I'm not an eternal optimist.
So
Yes, sir.
what determines when the next design construction cycle is?
Well, fortunately, excellent question, because we do annual beach profile surveys, and the city does, we have a consultant that does the beach profile surveys. We provide that information to the Army Corps of Engineers, and they analyze, and they'll look at it and say, okay, the beach is progressing where we typically are between 3 to 5, around a 5 to 7 year nourishment cycle, re-nourishment, and so they'll review the beach profile surveys and see, are we on track? And if for some reason we've had a number of storms, I think this has been an excellent situation of being able to partner with VPA, because a few years ago we were like, wow, the beach is doing excellent, it's performing well. But then, fortunately, we said, well, we'll go ahead and partner with the Corps and VPA, even though the beach is doing fine. But then we had several storms, and in this past summer, I'd never seen the experience of the large scarps around 15th to 20th, 30th Street that happened in August that were almost 6 feet high. And it was like, but fortunately, it was like the cavalry's coming. So yeah, we want to pay attention to that. But I would say, if the beach performs the way it should be about every 5 years.
Can they do the drone surveys to do that?
Well, the drone would be, right now, no, that would be more visual. And you're absolutely right. No, we also are, fortunately, because it's all part of our overall Public Works CIP program, we are trying to get in the habit of asking our drone folks in the spring and then in the fall, because just in case, just to have that information. And then, of course, in the fall, if we do have a hurricane, we can say, hey, here's visual information along with follow-up beach profile surveys if necessary after a storm.
But you actually do this survey, put a survey crew out there, measure from here to here to figure out what's going on.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
From you said you're going south now to 15th, and then you're going to flip and go north. At the rate you're going, will you get past 42nd Street before Memorial Day time period?
I think it'll be close, but right now I would say they might be right around 42nd Street in that area. But again, that'll be one that we're not going to just let it happen and be like, oh my gosh, scrambling. Several of these projects have had to unfortunately start the week before July 4th, which has always been fun. And so what we do is we definitely, about a month in advance, we're working with the contractor, where are you at? And then when they're saying, okay, yes, we're still going to be working, let's say between 39th and 41st Street, and it's going to be Memorial Day weekend, they'll say, well, either, if they want to continue to work, it's like you've got to minimize your location, make sure you have. What is good with the group, with these large dredging operations, is they have safety personnel, they'll have the orange fencing up, and they do police and monitor it. But at the same time, it is one that, and with all the signs, all the orange fence and everything, beachgoers are interested, and they'll still walk inside, and they are polite, able to kind of talk to them and have them come back out, because we got to do that for the public safety. But yeah, we'll definitely stay ahead of it, and if they are still in the beach area south of 42nd Street, we will make plans definitely well before Memorial Day.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Any other questions of Jim? We certainly want to thank you for the update.
Yes, sir.
And
okay, thank you.
wonderful. Thank you.
Can I ask one last question?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Sure, no problem. Yep.
Coordinated this with sand soccer?
Yes, we are working with, that's,
Whalen or Warren Land? I don't know who
yeah, I'd have to grab the actual name. We definitely are meeting with, have been since even November and last year, of meeting with our events coordinators to make sure where everything is and letting them know where, project updates. Actually, they are also invited to these, the every other week construction progress meetings. Great question, though. Thank you.
Okay, thanks again.
Yes, sir.